Hi, hello everyone. I'm Catherine Cassandra Santa Ana, MSN student of Baliwag University. Today I'll be discussing to you the nursing care management of geriatric patients, integumentary considerations. So, introduction. Geriatric patients experience significant changes in the integumentary system, which includes thinning of the skin, reduced elasticity, and impaired wound healing. So, this alteration not only compromise the protective barrier of the skin, but also make our elderly susceptible for infection and the development of pressure ulcers. So integumentary system, this system is the largest organ system of the body. It comprises the skin and its accessory structures, which is the hair, nails, and various glands. Major function of the integumentary system includes number one, protection. Protection acts like a physical barrier against mechanical injury, chemical exposure, UV rays, and also microbial invasion. Number two, temperature regulator or regulation. Through sweating, it help in the heat loss through evaporation. So, while adjustment in the blood flow, it helps retain the disparate heat as needed, no? And then number three, sensation. So the skin contains a network of sensory receptors. These receptors includes touch, pressure, temperature, and pain, thereby contributing to the protective reflexes of the body. And then number four, metabolic function. For the metabolic function, our skin metabolize or synthesize vitamin D, which is a critical function. So when the sun or the UVB uh, hits our skin or we are exposed to the sun, it converts a cholesterol derivatives to vitamin D, which is vital for calcium absorption and also bone health. And then number five, excretion and absorption. So it also acts as a minor role for elimination of waste like urea through our sweat. And also, it can also absorb certain medication or compounds topically, such as nitroglycerin patch, fentanyl patch, and others. So the physiology of integumentary system, this system is organized into three main layers. So we'll discuss from the top layer to the inner layer. So which is the epidermis, which is the outer layer of the skin. So it is a stratified squamous epithelium primarily composed of keratinocytes, providing a robust barrier. It also contains melanocytes for UV protection, which also gives our skin color, and Langerhans for immune surveillance. And also the dermis, second part of the skin, which is a connective tissue layer that supports the epidermis with network of collagen and elastin fibers, also blood vessels and nerve endings contributing to the skin's elasticity and strength and sensation. And the last part is the hypodermis, or what we call the subcutaneous tissue. So it mainly composed of adipose tissues that insulates and cushions and anchors the skin to the underlying. So what are the effects of aging? So first, we'll go from deep to the top layer, which is the hypodermis or the subcutaneous. So the subcutaneous fat is lost from the hypodermis during the aging process, thereby resulting from hypothermia. So yung mga matanda nating pasyente, no, hindi na nila kinakailangan na like daily, like bath, or kung magbabat man sila, kailangan warm yung tubig na gagamitin natin, no? Or kailangan patayin natin yung aircon or sarado yung pintana bago natin sila i-care sa paliguan kasi madali nga sila magkaroon ng hypothermia. Then number 2 is pressure injury. So because of less subcutaneous fat, so wala nang cushion, so prone na sila mag-develop ng pressure injury. So kailangan natin ng mga pressure injury protection or devices para maiwasan to. Then third is the absorption of topical medication. Since subcutaneous fat acts as a caution and also the absorption for the medication, sometimes hindi na siya ganun ka-effective yung um, pag yung paggamit natin ng topical medication or sometimes mas mabilis yung effect sa kanila kasi nga wala na silang masyadong subcutaneous fat. And then second is the dermis. Dermis, the second layer, there is a decrease in the thickness. And also there is a degeneration of elastin fibers, stiffening of collagen and fibers. So that's why you will see if you will be aging na, no, nagkakaroon na tayo ng wrinkles. And then decrease vascularity. So kaya nga yung mga mga aged people, mahirap na silang insert ng cannula kasi yung skin nila maganit na, no? Hindi na ganun ka-elastic. And then decreased number and function of sweat glands. So hindi na rin sila masyado nagpapawis. Thereby, yung mga toxin nila sa katawan hindi na rin masyadong nai-release, no? And then madali na rin silang magkaroon ng bruises. And then also decreased number of nerve endings. So yung sensation nila, it's not like how they have it before. So especially for diabetic patient, mas less yung nerve endings nila. So once na nagkasugat sila, minsan hindi nila napapansin na meron na silang sugat. So frequent assessment is really important for aged people. And the third layer is the epidermis. So there is a decreased barrier protection already because wala na masyado oil film dun sa balat. So it causes dryness, thereby causing easily to be wounded. So pag walang oil, so kahit yung papel, no, madali sila ma-paper cut. And decreased ability of skin repair. So not like before, no? Nung bata sila or bata tayo. 2 to 3 days, magaling na yung sugat. For aged people, sometimes it takes weeks or months bago mag-repair yung skin nila. Especially kung meron silang mga comorbidities. And then the third is damage occur more easily. So, especially if they are bedridden, madali silang mag-develop ng pressure injury pag hindi na turn side to side or like for example, may naipit na tubing sa likod nila, sa batok nila. Madaling mag-cause ito ng redness, no? So, yun. So what is our nursing implication and assessment? So number 1 is conduct routine skin inspection. So this is very important to do for the nurses because we can know or we can have a baseline. So once we admitted the patient, so kailangan head-to-toe assessment natin sila, especially sa skin, kung ano yung mga meron silang discoloration or may wound, kailangan isama natin yon sa assessment. And then, second is the assess risk factor. So, for our hospital, for example, we are using this Braden Risk Assessment Scale. So, this Braden Risk Assessment Scale is developed in 1984 by nurse Barbara Braden and Nancy Bergstrom and published in 1987. Which predicts a patient risk of developing pressure ulcer by assessing factors that affect skin integrity. So what are these factors? Number 1 is sensory and mental. So, and then number 2 is moisture. Number 3 is activity. Number 4 is mobility. Number 5 is nutrition. And last is friction and shear. So, makikita nyo naman dyan sa table. So, i-add nyo yung scoring dyan. And with that, malalaman nyo yung risk for pressure injury ng pasyente. So, this Braden risk assessment scale is not only for adult patient. We can use it for neonate and also for pediatrics. But in a different scale, so there is a neonatal Braden scale and also there is a pediatric Braden scale. So you can search for that. For example, for neonatal Braden scale, ang risk for pressure injury nila is 20, no? And for pediatric, it is 23. For adult, it is 18 and below. So, and then document changes. So we need to document any changes sa patient, which includes dito sa Braden scale. For example, the patient is initially walks with assistant, then suddenly becomes bedfast. So we need to reassess them with the Braden risk assessment tool para malaman natin kung tumataas ba yung risk nila for pressure injury or like yung nutrition. Dati sila nakain and then hindi na po sila nakain ngayon. So very poor na. So kailangan natin i-assess again for the Braden risk assessment scale. And then we need to document nga yung changes ko kung nagde-deteriorate or nag-improve ba yung pressure injury ng ating mga pasyente kung meron man. And then lastly is educate caregivers and patients. So this is very important for them to be what is that? Maging hawak nila yung health nila sa kanila, no? I mean, maging part sila. Hindi lang sila yung tanggap ng tanggap. So, sila din ay proactive sa kanilang care. And then our nursing care plan, number 1, is impaired skin integrity related to thinning epidermis and decreased tissue elasticity and impaired healing. Number 2 is risk for infection due to a compromised protective barrier. And number 3 is risk for pressure ulcer secondary to immobility and reduced tissue perfusion. So for the impaired skin integrity, our short-term goal is to maintain intact skin without further breakdown and promote gradual healing of any existing lesions. For the long term, enhance the skin's overall resilience and restore optimal healing capacity. So yun. And then our intervention, of course, regular skin assessment is very important. And then moisturization. So dahil nga hindi na sila masyado gagawa ng oil sa balat, so we need to moisturize them with the normal pH, no, or pH balance lotion. And aside from that, we need to add some protective practices, such as for us, we are using this Cavilon spray to prevent them from skin breakdown or yung skin wounds. We use this, for example, they have a medical device like ECG leads or NGT. Before we apply those things, we spray this on their skin. Then it will act as a film barrier. So parang magiging may plastic bago yung ECG leads. Yun. And also this foam devices or foam dressing like Mepilex. This is what we are using in our hospital to prevent pressure injury. Like we can put it in our sacral or in the occiput area, in the heel, everywhere actually. Some of the dressing meron pa siyang gamot, no? So for like pressure injury, like merong mga pressure injury type 3, so we can add that Mepilex AG. Yun ang tawag Mepilex AG. So, pagtanggal natin, so, mas nag-heal na yung wound kasi para siya nagsiself-debride. And then, nutritional support. So, of course, optimum nutrition for our patients. So, for our patients who are eating, it should be a balanced diet. If not, they cannot eat by mouth, we should ask for NGT feeding or if they need to be NPO, we can ask or suggest for TPN, no? Total Parenteral Nutrition with lipid para mag-support dun sa nutrition nila. And then evaluation. So, clinical observation, of course, monitor for signs of improvement of skin texture, reduced dryness and minimal irritation, and healing of any lesions. And then documentation, record skin assessment, and any changes in lesion size, color, and exudate over time. And of course, patient feedback, assess patient comfort levels, and report any discomfort of new areas of skin concern. Number 2 is for the risk for infection. So short-term and long-term goal is to prevent the development of an infection by maintaining a clean and protected and well-managed skin environment. So number 1 is what? Aseptic wound care. So kailangan na yung paghawak natin sa mga sugat nila is aseptical, no? Aseptically. Hindi yung gagamit tayo ng clean gloves na lang or bare hands or minsan hindi pa malinis yung ginagamit natin mga equipments like scissors. Kailangan sterile scissor yung gagamitin natin to prevent infection dun sa wound or pressure injury. And then barrier creams. Barrier creams such as yung sinabi ko nga, Cabilon spray or Cabilon cream, it can have a film barrier, no, sa balat natin para hindi direkta na kinakapit yung mga devices na kailangan nila for monitoring. And then number 3 is environmental cleanliness. So that's why it's very important to clean the environment of our patient to decrease microorganism. As you all know, very risk sila for hospital-acquired infection. And number 4 is patient and caregiver education. So not only for the wound, but also for infection control practices such as hand washing. So mahalaga yung hand washing sa patient and caregiver. Hindi na lang basta-basta nila hawakan yung sugat nila or yung pagkagaling nila sa banyo, bigla nila hawakan yung sugat nila, no? So mahalaga yung health teaching para sa mga pasyente natin. So for our evaluation, number 1 is regular monitoring. Check for skin for any signs of infection such as increased redness, swelling, warmth, or discharge. And kailangan i-document. And then number 2, laboratory values, if applicable. Verify that the markers of inflammation or infection. So tumataas yung WBC or yung CRP nila mataas or yung mga procalcitonin mataas lahat. So kailangan i-refer natin to sa doktor. Not only that, pati yung blood sugar kailangan din natin i-monitor. Kasi minsan pag mas mataas yung blood, di pala minsan. Pag mas mataas yung blood sugar, mas less yung wound healing ng mga pasyente natin. Lalo na yung mga may pressure injury, lalo na yung mga diabetic, no? And then patient reporting. So we should note patient comment regarding change in skin comfort or any signs that might suggest an emerging infection. Example for this is for our diabetic patient. So meron lang silang maliit na wound sa kanilang toe. So this small wound can be a big wound, no? Pwede rin siya mag-gangrene, which can lead to amputation. So kailangan natin hindi baliwalain yung mga gantong mga concern na ating mga pasyente or yung mga assessment na nakikita natin kahit maliliit, minsan importante siya. And then number 3, nursing care plan is the risk for pressure ulcer. So our goal short term is to prevent development of pressure ulcer by reducing prolonged pressure and enhancing tissue perfusion. For the long term, maintain intact skin over bony prominence and improve overall mobility and circulation. So for the intervention, of course, number 1, frequent repositioning. Ito ay para sa mga bedridden na pasyente. So for us, we're following a positioning clock. So every 2 hours, we are repositioning right, left, right, left. Wala kaming back sa pasyente, no? And we're avoiding the pressure parts na matagal na magstay or maano sa bed. And then we're also using air mattress na para hindi siya flat lang. Some they are using egg mattress, no? I saw this in the Philippines. Mostly for sa mga aged people. So effective din siya yung egg mattress. Yun nga yung number 2, support surfaces. And then number 3, skin inspection again. So napakahalaga talaga ng skin inspection. Dahil makikita mo kung nagde-develop ba yung pressure ulcer, like nagpa-progress siya from stage 1, naging stage 2 ba siya, nawala na yung balat, or stage 3 na ba siya. So naapektuhan na ba yung subcutaneous niya, or umabot na ba siya hanggang muscle, or naging unstageable siya, or yung parang meron na siyang alam mo yung covered na siya ng black, gano'n, no? Kailangan mahalaga yung knowledge natin sa pressure injury assessment. And then nutritional enhancement. So as I've said earlier, so napakahalaga ng nutritional support sa ating mga elderly. So kailangan na i-assess talaga sila ng mga nutritionist and our doctors if they're receiving sufficient nutrition. And then mobility exercise. So we can do passive exercise for our bedridden patients and also refer them to physical therapist, occupational therapist. And then we can also ask the help for the social worker kung may kailangan tayo mga mobility equipments such as wheelchair or mga canes or mga lifting devices, no? Para sa ating mga patients. Yun. And then evaluation, skin integrity check, monitor for any signs of persistent redness, non-blanchable areas, or skin breakdown over bony prominence. 2, document record patient repositioning and periodic assessment to ensure preventive measures are effective. And 3, pressure area assessment, use standardized tool such as Braden scale to continuously evaluate the patient risk status and adjust intervention accordingly. In conclusion, effective management of impaired skin integrity, the risk for infection, and pressure ulcer prevention in geriatric patients require a comprehensive and integrated approach. Through structured nursing care plans with clear defined goals, intervention, and evaluation, nurses plays a pivotal role. However, ensuring success depends on robust health teachings for patient and family, which empowers them to participate actively in the daily care practices, combined with an interdisciplinary team that coordinates assessment, nutritional support, mobility enhancement, and specialized wound management. By uniting these efforts, healthcare providers can optimize outcome, improve patient comfort, and reduce complication associated with age-related skin changes. So these are my reference to my presentations. So I will leave you with a quote that caring is the essence of nursing by Dr. Jean Watson. So you can scan this barcode. So I have filed some nursing books inside the folder that maybe will be helpful for you. And I hope you have learned regarding skin and care for the skin, of course, and para sa ating mga geriatric patient. That's all po. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. That's all. Thank you. God bless.